We've got all the latest Man United transfer news and gossip from around the football world. Here's what's coming up in today's video.
Could Manchester United really pull off the biggest transfer in football? Reports linking Real Madrid superstar Vinícius Júnior with a sensational move to Old Trafford have sent the Manchester United fanbase into meltdown. While it's still only speculation at this stage, some of the biggest names in the United YouTube community have been reacting to the story. On today's show, we'll hear from Mark Goldbridge, United View, Stretford Paddock, and more as we break down everything that's being said about one of the most incredible transfer rumours of the summer. Let's get into it.
What has come out last night is, and look, it's really interesting because, so basically there was a post last night that's gone around everywhere, basically saying that if Vinícius Júnior was, I'm going to call him Vinny.
Do you think this will happen?
Junior from now on. If he was to leave Real Madrid and he's only got 1 year left on his contract, then Manchester United would be the most likely place that he would end up. Romain Molina, who has 700,000 followers on X, writes for the New York Times, the BBC, CNN, Guardian, basically said that
What do you think about this?
United would be the only club that could financially assume a transfer for Vinícius Júnior this summer. The signing bonus, the transfer amount, the salary and the commissions are all key. Real Madrid has a clear stance: renewal or sale. Now, a lot of people are saying absolute nonsense, but before I give you my opinion on this, I want to just throw a few things at you. He's out of contract in a year's time. Madrid need to renew or sell. Absolutely. You know, this is not a guy with 4 years left on his contract. He has to renew or be sold by Real Madrid, or he walks for free next summer, which Real Madrid don't want. Real Madrid also need to fund a deal for Elise if that's what they're going to push for. On top of that as well, the player is not settled at Madrid. He's not sure about signing for Madrid and committing for the long future, especially with the changes that are going on. So look, there is potential for that there. It's funny, and I will reveal this. On the voice note I had last night talking about the midfield, there was a bit of back and forth, and I hadn't even seen this about Vinícius Júnior, and there was a comment about Vinícius Júnior saying that, look, you know, would United be looking at that? So look, it's not the first time I've heard about Vinny and Manchester United. Manchester United should be signing players like this. For the younger generation.
Do you think this will happen?
For the younger generation, we nearly bought Ronaldinho 25 years ago. We nearly got him. From PSG to Man United, we nearly got him, and at the last minute he went to Barcelona. So what I would say before I give you my opinion is that there's a lot of people online and
What do you think about this?
And in this chat, quite rightly, I respect it, saying this is never gonna happen. It's nonsense, right? And I don't necessarily disagree with you. I'll give you my opinion in a minute. But hold on a minute. This is not gonna happen. This is ridiculous. This is total nonsense. Is that not evidence of the drop-off of this football club? 25 years ago, we very nearly got Ronaldinho. 25 years later, you're telling me it's ridiculous that we would get Vinícius Júnior. Is that not evidence of the sustained drop-off under the glazes of Manchester United? We absolutely should be doing deals like this. We absolutely should be all over deals like this. And I think that's why, for some fans of a certain age like myself, we look at the erosion of the club. We look at the knocking down of Old Trafford. We look at season ticket holders having their tickets taken off them. We look at the increase in ticket prices for nothing. And we look at stories like this and accept, you know, it's a fantasy. But that's the decline of Manchester United under the Glazers. They've lowered the expectations so much they don't even need to deny stories like this, because you will do it for them. You will sit there in this chat or online and say, ridiculous, it's never going to happen. Why have we become that as a fan base?
Do you think this will happen?
Why are we now doing the work for them? Why are we actually saying that's ridiculous, what a load of shit? And these are the signings we should be doing. This is exactly, I mean, look, if he leaves, where will he go then? PSG? Manchester City? Arsenal? Not Manchester United. I mean, what have we become as a football club that we're not looking at those sort of deals anymore? And I'll tell you what.
What do you think about this?
Tell you what. You can be labelled negative. I get it all the time. If Man United went and bought Vinícius Júnior this summer, that's the sort of deal that I don't care how many shirt sales you do. I don't care how many season tickets you sell. I don't care how many people say, oh, it's PR. That's the sort of deal where I'd stand up and applaud the club and go, well, I think you're a bunch of knobheads, but I have no issues with that at all. I think that is the grandstand signing type that Manchester United should be making. And you may be complete and utter cretins who are going to knock Old Trafford down and have, you know, put us into debt. But that's exactly the sort of signing. And yes, it is a shirt seller. And yes, it does sell season tickets. And yes, it suddenly makes Man United's profile go through the roof. You know, as a worldwide club, we go through the roof with a signing like that. I don't care about the business angle. From a footballing point of view, it is incredibly exciting, and it's exactly the sort of deal we should be looking to do. But we all know we're not going to do it, and we all know we're not going to do it because the wage is too big for us. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is a tight arse, and so are the Glazers, and this is not the plan for Manchester United. We don't want to be Real Madrid or PSG. We want to be Everton.
Do you think this will happen?
Everton or, you know, Crystal Palace. We don't want to do deals like this. We want to sign the next Vinny J. Yeah, because that works. I mean, I bet if you went round every club in the Premier League and said, are you looking for the next Vinny J? They'd all say yes. I mean, it's incredible to me that that's actually our thing. So look, I disagree.
What do you think about
I
this?
disagree with this story that Man United are the only club that could do this deal. I think Arsenal can do it. I think Man City can do it. I think PSG can do it. I even think Bayern Munich might be able to find a way of doing it. So I don't think we're the only club that could do this. In fact, I don't think we are the club that can do it. I don't think we can afford it. I don't think we can afford the wages. The wages are topping out at about 400 or 500 grand a week. I would pay it. I would pay it. And I think this is a great example again. I don't mind paying £500,000 a week for a player like that. I don't mind paying £500,000 a week for Erling Haaland. There are 4 or 5 players in this world that I do not mind paying what is perceived as incredible wages because you will make it back tenfold for their ability on the pitch and also what they bring off the pitch. I don't mind doing it. Man United won't do it. They won't. They are not. We're not about that life anymore. We're not about that. We're not that club anymore. But I think it's sad. I think it's really sad because there is a player there.
This is really interesting Manchester United transfer news, and there's still plenty more to come. What do you think? Let us know in the comments, and here's what's coming up next.
I'm going to do a little lean on this tree for this one. I'm actually going to hide behind the tree where producer Ben can't find me. We're being linked with Vinicius Júnior.
Do you think this will happen?
Yeah, you heard that right. We're being linked with Vinicius Júnior. I'm going to do this story from behind this tree. Romain Molina, journalist out of Spain. He's, well, this isn't mine. You have to remember, this isn't my story. I don't come up with this.
What do you think about this?
I'm just reporting what's going on. He said that United are basically the only club that could sign Vinicius Júnior, and that Real Madrid have insisted that if he doesn't sign a new deal, they will sell him this summer. Now, the problem with that is he's one of the very few players in the world that could maybe move the needle in terms of us winning a league title next season. But he's also got one of the worst reputations in football in terms of tracking back, in terms of being a team player, all of the things that United want. But he's so good. And again, this isn't a story saying that United are going to sign him, that United even necessarily want him. But it's just putting the picture together that his contract runs out in 2027, by the way. He's got 1 year left on his deal. Real Madrid supposedly are either going to sign him up to a new deal or sell him this summer, and there aren't many clubs that could afford him. Now, United is clearly one of them. But that doesn't mean that anything's going to get done, obviously. Don't shoot the messenger. Just let me know in the comments, would you be up for Man United having a go at Vinicius Júnior? Is that something which is just 1 year left on your deal, is 80 million. Is 80 million.
Do you think this will happen?
Is 80 million. It's the wages. I know it's the wages. I know what everyone's going to say. It's the wages. It's him arguing with the fans. It's him storming off and getting Alonso sacked. It's all the things we don't want at Man United. But he's a 45 goal and assist machine on that left-hand side. United aren't particularly thin, or thick, should I say, for players over in that position. Maybe, I don't know.
What do you think about this?
Could have just stayed behind the tree and not said anything. But I want your thoughts on the idea that Manchester United could be a suitor for Vinicius Júnior. And let's end on a story that is much more grounded in reality, that I don't actually have to hide behind the tree to get through. Ederson has signed a new deal at Atalanta. This whole charade, facade that we were going to be potentially renegotiating this deal, coming back to it at the end of the summer. Don't worry, pal. We know your knee's made of absolute spinal tissue at this point. There's just bits in there that shouldn't even be there. Apparently, do you know when you get dredged through an old canal and there's trolleys and like horse bones and stuff? That's what was in Ederson's knee. We know all of that. We've already cancelled the deal. We've already literally signed someone in your place. But don't worry, we'll come back for you. This is the Titanic, isn't it? We'll come back for Jack. We ain't coming back for him. Jack's floating in the North Sea at the minute. And this Ederson deal is very much the same. And he's now confirmed that, or cemented that, by signing a new deal at Atalanta. That deal is off. We knew it was off. We knew the club line about coming back to it felt fishy at the time. We don't even have to pretend anymore. We don't even have to act shocked.
Do you think this will happen?
But he has signed a new deal at Atalanta, putting to bed any rumours and any chance that he will sign for Manchester United. It's a bizarre saga. It's an interesting and unusually drawn out saga for a player that wasn't particularly expensive, wasn't particularly highly rated, other than, you know, having a bit of a reputation after the Europa League final a couple of seasons ago, and yet it felt almost Sancho-esque.
What do you think about this?
In its breadth, and yet we can put a sort of final point on that one now. Man United will not be signing Ederson, as we kind of knew anyway, and any chance of us renegotiating at the end of the summer, I think, has gone out the window. That is going to be all, though, from us this morning. Get your thoughts in here in a sunny Helsinki. Lovely place, by the way, from what we've seen so far. I mean, all we have seen is a couple of bars and some very interesting artwork in our hotel, but we're not going to get into too much of that. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back later on today with the watch along over in Manchester. Jay will be at the front of that. Then we'll be back here in Helsinki with all the post-match reviews. I'm going to be speaking to some of, hopefully some of the players after the game, and giving our review as well after the match tonight. First game of pre-season, and for me, the first game of next season, and the first game of Manchester United's 21st league title as far as I'm concerned. Thank you very much for joining us. Hit subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out the merch as well. Loads of stuff over on the web.
We've still got loads to come. Let us know what you think in the comments, and here is what's coming up next.
Well, this should be a good debate, shouldn't it? Vinícius Júnior being linked to Manchester United. There are a few other stories this morning we want to get through as well. Reports on Adam Wharton alongside Vinícius Júnior, different fullback for Manchester United coming in, along with all of your live chat and opinions as well. I know this one is a bit of a crazy story.
Do you think this will happen?
I personally wouldn't see anything like this happening. There is a little bit of a plot twist with Vinícius Júnior's contract, which has brought this story about, and I'll explain all of that. Look, it is one of them debate shows this morning where we can actually just discuss whether something crazy like this is ever going to be possible again at Manchester United with Ineos, because obviously Galactico, big attitude.
What do you think about this?
Massive head in terms of what he thinks of himself, in my opinion. And I'm just bringing this to you all this morning on the live show here on Forever United TV, because other people might think that this is possible and would take Vinícius Júnior at Manchester United. We have a lot to get through this morning, and I want to get all your opinions in on this. We have obviously got a poll running right now on this one, and just answer the question straight out. Would you take Vinícius Júnior? Is Vinícius Júnior for you? Yes or no, basically. The poll is there. Not me or me, basically. Would you take Vinícius Júnior at United? And it is already up and running with over 200 votes straight away as soon as we kickstart the show this morning. And I'm not surprised where the vote is going, but we'll leave it rolling and we'll leave it going just so everybody could have their say on this. But when it comes to this story and it comes to what has been said, it is a story. It's a story from Romain Malinov, who says that Manchester United are the only option for Vinícius Júnior if he leaves Real Madrid this summer. Madrid have been clear. Vinícius Júnior either extends his contract or they will look to sell him this summer. Now, obviously, as we know, there has been that power struggle at Real Madrid.
Do you think this will happen?
They do like to move big players on as well. Vinícius Júnior is 26. It's not often you'll get a player of that age at the peak of his powers. Obviously had a good World Cup as well, Vinícius Júnior, until Brazil went out. But someone at the peak of their powers leaving Real Madrid is probably unheard of. And again, this is why we got our hopes up about Tchouaméni and then was let down, used to get a new contract.
What do you think about this?
I'm not going to give you my opinion on this straight away. I think Manchester United are being used. I think United are being used to get a new contract for Vinicius Júnior. Manchester United are the only club that can afford Vinicius Júnior. I don't think so. I mean, yes, you can say that in the past, but not anymore. There are plenty of other clubs out there that could afford Vinicius Júnior. You only have to look a little bit down the road to Manchester City, and I don't think they would go anywhere near Vinny Júnior. These are the stories that are now starting to come out, and I think just test the waters with the Ineos reign and things like this. And the only reason that this story is doing anything at all, and it, for me, again, is a non-story, is because his contract runs out at the end of 2027. He's got one more year. And if he doesn't sign a new deal with Real Madrid, then he can talk to other clubs outside of Spain this January. Now, that sounds absolutely ludicrous for a player like Vinicius Júnior, doesn't it? Now, 1 year left on his contract. What can Real Madrid get for him, realistically? He'll be on absolutely astronomical wages, which I don't think fits into Ineos's model of contracts and wage structure, of course. I don't think that is even possible for Manchester United to do with what they're trying to obviously accomplish here. They're trying to bring the wage bill down. They're obviously trying to stretch out, obviously, the size of the squad with more reasonable contracts with players. And we're seeing a lot of that in the transfer activity that Man United are doing so far under Ineos. And it does look sensible. Vinicius Júnior is the complete opposite to that. I mean, look,
what do you think about this?
Vinicius Júnior was like with Mbappe, with Xabi Alonso. I've said this all along. I wouldn't take Mbappe or Vinicius Júnior at Manchester United in what we're trying to build here. I'd rather build our own players up, and I'm not taking anything away from the quality of them players. They are two of the best in the world, and it would transform what we are as a team and as a club if we went and brought them in. So many different reasons off the pitch in terms of the merchandise and bringing back that whole wow, Galactico feeling of Manchester United again. But then again, inside the squad, what are we saying to the rest of them? What are we saying to all the other players? We're saying, well, that's it now. We're part of this project for a few years, and then now we're going to bring in a massive star. I mean, it's not going to happen. I just don't see Ineos sanctioning any deal for this. He'd be on more money than Bruno Fernandes, and the transfer fee that I don't think we're willing to pay. If anything, this summer, what Manchester United are doing is looking for that third midfielder, and that's where the big money is going to be spent, is what we've been told. So, Vinny Júnior.
This is really interesting Manchester United transfer news, and there's still plenty more to come. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. And here's what's coming up next.
So I wanted to take a few moments at the beginning of the show today to address these stories and say, I know there'll be an excitement, especially around Vinicius Júnior, but do not get suckered in. The man is going to sign an extension at Real Madrid. That, for me, is as close to 100% as you can get. Do you think
this will happen?
99% sure. And even if he doesn't, I do not believe that Man United right now have the facilities to land him. I do not believe we would be prepared to pay him what are mammoth wages. Not because, I mean, I don't actually know if he'd be worth it. And I know that that's going to be controversial to a lot of people. But I feel like Vinicius Júnior is a luxury player. I feel like Vinicius Júnior is an individual who's beneficial for a team, but a team that already has a solid consistency around its style of play, a consistent Champions League team, a side that is already competing and challenging for the major trophies every year, and you add him in. People often say to me, Terry, would you overpay? Sometimes you've got to overpay for the extra 5% to get over the line. And that's probably Vinicius Júnior. That's a player like Vinicius Júnior, although I still don't think for the wages he commands, by the way, 720,000 euros a week this man earns. And yes, you'll see the base is around 480. But there's bonuses on top of that. And those bonuses are massively connected to the club winning. It's around 600,000 a week. Now, I think for 600,000 a week, I would want a player that's guaranteeing me 40 to 50 goals and assists a year. And there isn't a guarantee there. So it's a massive luxury player. It might give you that extra 5%, but that's great if you're nearly the winners of the league, nearly the Champions League winners, and you want to get over the line and you're prepared to pay that money for it. I don't even know if it feels right in this
Do you
moment,
think this
but I don't
will
believe the
happen?
story either. So Man United fans don't get suckered in. With Adam Wharton, I feel very similar about it. I think there is almost no truth to this whatsoever. This isn't even Man United briefing anybody because it's come from Indy. This isn't Man United trying to... United will probably get the stick for it. Ineos will probably get attacked for it. No, briefing the media, getting fans excited. This ain't coming from Jacobs. This isn't coming
What
from...
do you think about this?
Fabrizio or anybody of that ilk. Ornstein, Dean Jones, nobody. This is coming from Indy, and I do not believe there's any truth to this whatsoever. There may be a loose link connected to the player from a year ago that's now being spoken on, but United fans don't get suckered in by this because personally, I think it's a crock of crap. Two big updates here on the Morgan Rogers deal. Arsenal and Aston Villa are engaging in club-to-club talks for the transfer of Morgan Rogers. Senior members from both clubs are in direct contact. Personal terms are not an issue. That is the big update from the hand of Arsenal in relation to that deal. Sam Collins, a very trusted Arsenal source, has also said Arsenal's pursuit of Morgan Rogers is expected to accelerate as the World Cup comes to an end. The Aston Villa star is their top target. And there's a few excellent elements to come out of this. First and foremost, something I've spoke about for many, many years. Your number one target is not always the first person you sign. Zolas has already come in. Great proof of that concept again for everybody that loses their minds. But more importantly, the World Cup is what's delayed a number of Arsenal's deals. I do believe now they're putting their eggs into this basket. And I'm intrigued by the Morgan Rogers deal because, and we'll get into it in more detail, there's a lot of people that don't rate it and don't think it's the profile that Arsenal need. But in terms of the deal, this is my opinion, it feels imminent. Specifying. Terms are absolutely agreed between the player and Arsenal. And I don't think Arsenal and Villa are going to be in a long drawn-out saga from this point onwards. I think this will be resolved relatively quickly after the World Cup, because I think a lot of the groundwork's been done. The go button hasn't been pressed. But with Nzambi going into Aston Villa, I think João Gomez has now joined Aston Villa, unless I'm mistaken. I've also read somewhere today, very loosely, and we're going to cover it more on this afternoon's Done Deal show, that João Palhinha is also joining Aston Villa. Now, if I've got any of those wrong, please correct me in the details below. That tells me, and I know some people are going to say, well, Terry, they're midfielders. Yes, they are. But Villa are moving on very quickly. They're buying players and they're going to sell. Tillemans has gone for 35 million. Great. I understand that. But they are going to sell Morgan Rogers because they're funding their rebuild. They know the player doesn't want to be there.
Thanks for watching today's Man United transfer news. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Who do you think I should sign? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We're back to even more Man United news, transfers, and all the good stories from around the football world. Till next time, thanks for watching.